Kelra had a chance against Onik prior. And this time it was an Onik matchup. Can he do it against the Philippines, this time representing Indonesia? As Team Falcons and Onik go up for game 3. Is it going to be a sweep in our third place match? Guys, that would be crazy, but I know some fans that would enjoy it. Let's send it over to Naisu and Leo.
Hey, I'm hoping it's not a sweep here. We got to get one on the board for Falcons. They need it, and their fans need it. I think they brought the draft here, though, Leo, to make that happen. I like what they brought to the table just because, again, there's some burst, there's some crowd control, and even the Marcel. I think this all pairs up really well against what Onik brought to Game 3.
Not just that, the fact that they've basically over 3 games changed their identity. They let go of the glue, they let go of the Esmeralda. They're no longer living in the we will fight and die by this kind of rotation. There's a lot of re-engage here, especially to answer Onik's own re-engage, especially with that Matilda in the hands of Keyboy. Early start here, a little bit of footsies between the mid duos from both sides, and then we eventually just return back to the roamers protecting their junglers from getting their early buffs.
Taking a look at the emblems here, too. It's a little scary, as you mentioned, Keyboy, on this Matilda. Not only the mobility, but that focusing mark, the emblem there to go ahead and help. I mean, we already know the Eudora for Sans, like the burst potential there. Just yesterday, we saw Sunset Lover play it pretty much 5 games in a row. And, you pair it up with this, even the emblem interaction, there's a good amount of burst that comes through to almost solidify yourself a kill. So then you get the numbers advantage, and you can work around that, plus mobility. And I think that's what makes the Barretts even scarier here for Lutpi, just because, again, you already cover a lot of grounds with the flicker, but then now you have a Matilda. Like, that's great. But over on the flip side, with Falcons, I kind of forget about Sora, too. I have to be on the same wavelength here with Renmar. You kind of forget about him. But just as we saw in the hands of Kid Bomba yesterday, you're reminded why he can be so deadly, especially when teams are kind of clumped up together.
And Onik knows best exactly what a good Sora can do. Kyle backing off. They see that there's 3 members of Onik pushing forth. Down bottom, though, who'd have thought that by bringing a pair of boxing gloves to a gunfight, you could get away with a lot. Kelra's bullying Marco. I doubt that Marco can even double wave as soon as this turtle dance or fight fully breaks out.
Yeah, right now Onik's got control of it. We'll see if Falcons is in a position to fight. Kyle's going to be spotted out here, though, by Keyboy. Can they go in?
That's a Shifting Skies started up by Flap, but to no avail as Onik secures the turtle. Down goes Flap. That Feather Air Strike may be a league too far out of the fight as Onik barrels forward 1,000 gold up.
Good enough burst, it seemed like, to be the case, but what happened there with Onik was just able to go ahead and zone out Falcons from the fight. And part of that was just Lutpi. I mean, on the Barretts alone, he just kind of separated the rest of Falcons from that, and they were able to go ahead and capitalize a kill on Flap when he tried to initiate things. And, honestly, that kind of choreography for these objective fights is kind of what I expect, unless somehow Falcons can figure out a different way to go through that. But that's what makes it really difficult. Again, playing around the potential to surprise them with having this Guinevere, with having Ogwyn on the Marcel. Now, the Golden Hour could help make that happen. Could slow down or kind of make things weird, the rhythm weird for Onik's team fighting, but that first one was not it for Falcons.
To be fair, Ogwyn wasn't ready quite yet, and that means 3 out of the 4 possible ults that were laid down to help disrupt Onik's form wasn't ready. Yeah. Or they were lacking one major resource. So going into turtle number 2, spawning in the lower quarter, out in about 30 seconds and change should be a different story. But again, that is looking at Onik. They still have all of their resources. That does walk into the wall, plus the Feather Air Strike, but it's Kyle who falls! And Lutpi walks away with it. Flap goes down too by Kairi's blade. Onik showing no quarter, as even Haji might fall, does not have the wings by wings! Kairi, bloodthirsty, finds another.
Even before that Kairi play, give it up to Lutpi, man, to be able to go ahead and respond that fast. Again, he saw that Kyle came through. Daytona's welcomed him, flickered defensively to get him closer to the team fight. As we look at the replay, this is what I was talking about. Boom, right there, sets things up. Sans also coming through to make sure that he got that stun off in time to make sure Lutpi survived. And then, of course, Kairi cleaning things up under a tier 2 this early on. Man, it's not looking good in game 3.
Turtle number 2 is looking like a non-starter once more. Lutfi getting his welcome. Good amount of nothing he's chomped down, but that's just but a consolation prize for Falcons. They are in no shape to contest.
Biggest lead we've seen so far throughout these 3 games. Onyx going to go ahead and stall down a little bit so that Kairi can go ahead and grab his buff. Again, already sitting at 3-0. You know, this is the power spike already for Hirara. It's going to be really difficult to play against, and that's why even your frontliners for Falcons are having such a hard time here, because even if they put themselves in this, I mean, look at that. You either get stunned, you get chomped. Oh, they are going to slow this down a little bit, but, I mean, you buy an extra second or two with the golden hour, and Turtle secured for Onyx.
They're delaying the inevitable. Onyx knows that they were going to get the turtle anyways, but I don't know if they saw that Marco was going to work the opposite lane. So that's at least a turret on the board for Falcons. They'll help keep this lead down to a palpable 3K, but Kelra will make quick work of that turret on the other side as well. So I'd say it's still just the free turtle that Onyx are riding on that puts him up at about 4,000 gold. They find one!
Oh!
And Kaku saving himself, Keyboy with a circling eagle. Onyx refused to give anything over to Team Falcons.
Falcons was so close to at least getting one on the board, and then Keyboy is able to survive, man. That Purify, even if they popped it, he still had the shields to go ahead and keep him alive. Really good usage there. Now they're knocking on this tier 1. Oh, Kelra.
Better airstrike. Kelra coming in from the flank. Stop. Flickered in. Hadouken. Might take a Haji, but Haji does get the fly off even with the flicker from Lutfi, and the punish from Falcons is real. Ogwin punches him down. Golden hour will not save him from Sans though, as it turns into a 1-for-1.
All right, the 1-for-1 trade, at least Falcons is on the board, but man, again, you're seeing it. Onyx playing around the lead that they have, and you know, one of the difficult things here as you see these fights break out is just how kind of, oh, hold on, flap, whoa, burns a flicker. Okay, Sans is gonna be okay. So at least a battle spell expended. But again, it's weaving into these fights. The thing that Onyx lineup does so well, especially with Kelra or Kairi, is how much they can maneuver around these team fights or around these...
Whoa, 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 whoa! Was that a circling eagle leading up to Lutfi underneath tier 1, getting hit with a Requiem, and they get another! Keyboy falls, the punish from Falcons, getting 2 kills on Marco.
Yeah, did they just... guiding wind into their death? I mean, Onyx tried to make a... It seemed like he wanted to make a play, and then they got punched in the face.
Yes, the only reason why it seems so unbelievable is it happened as we were swinging the camera over, and then it happened. So, turtle number 3 might actually be Falcons' way to redemption. And it looks like Onyx are not going to contest, so they accept the folly of their fumble. Falcons on the board when it comes to neutrals.
Yeah, that's when you say, you know, that's my bad, that's my bad, right? But
MB, go again.
MB, go again. Falcons able to get the last turtle. They still have some ground to cover, though. They're down a bit, a few thousand gold up to this point, but they are starting to farm up, and a big part of that is going over to Super Marco.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
All right, wings by wings out. Marco, can we take a look at the items to see where Super Marco is? Again, okay, so he's got his 2 items. He's working on his 3rd. That golden staff is what he needs to get that Trinity locked in for this Claude. So he's done a really good job, despite how things have kind of fallen apart for the early game for Falcons. You know, your gold laner for Falcons is really what you're leaning towards. Obviously, Haji, too, only having the glowing 1. You can already see when he drops down a feathered airstrike, it's got some damage. So Falcons is waiting.
A little bit of a sting there. And he's down a full 1,000 gold up from Sans, so Falcons have to play this very precariously. A minute until Lord spawns lower quarter. Fortunately, the long lane is in control of Falcon, so that's what Marco's been working on. Shifting skies, but he gets answered by that as well. The feathered airstrike 2, golden hour, compromising the rest of them. Requiem on a Suns, and Falcons get a kill. Now into the back line, circling eagle, knocking up Kyle. Kyle's not long for this world as Kairi scores. Killer knocks out Haji. The blazing the web fade away by Marco, pushing them back, but they're not done. Ogwin runs through, recalls back, fight's over.
Okay, fight's over. Onyx gets the upper hand in that one. Sans, unfortunately, had to deal with the spatial migration coming through from Kyle. Oh, Kelra with a couple punches. Checking Ogwin here. They're going to take down the tier 1 in mid. So Onyx reestablishing that lead that they had earlier on. You know, but Falcons, they're showing some fight here. They're showing some promise. They've just got to find the upper hand. Again, this Daytona's welcome, locking down Flap. Look at Kyle, he finds Sans. That's great, but then this fight kind of gets split up, you know, and they don't really have the room to work with here. Flap has to disengage from it. The blazing duet from Super Marco didn't get as much value as you'd hope for if you're Falcons. So it was just, again, having that upper hand in terms of itemization for Onic, and now this Lord is up. So they've got control of it. Falcons here. Do they contest? Ogwin jumping forward to give some information. They will reset the Lord, though.
Flap holding this brush behind the Lord pit. He's going to get flushed out by Lutpi. Missile expert to throw him out there. And look at Kelra. Kelra is just doing God's work right now. The fact that he's threatening that long lane, all this while Onic is also just threatening the dance, makes it so weird for Falcons. Like, what do they commit to? Sure, they have a BMI. Sure, they have the wings by wings, but those are massive resources they're going to need if they want to fight against Onic, who's up by about 4,500 gold. Whoop.
Oh, hold on.
That's Welcome, throwing it over. Golden hour to delay the damage. Coming on a Flap, and he goes for the shifting skies. Jumps through.
Kyle.
And now in comes Kyle. Marco looking for the perfect blazing duet entry. And there's some wings by wings. The damage on Kyle is real despite the Requiem. Millionaire strike at point blank range. Kyrie finds the double. Make it a triple. Marco with a defensive blazing duet. But he's the only survivor left, and Onic wanna clean up house. Kyrie in the base. Can Marco do it? No! Kyrie finds him! The Savage in the groups gets another, and I think we're close to calling it.
Oh, man. Ignore the Lord. They've got waves pushing in here. They'll take what they want. It's Hunger Games right now. Look at the replay here by SDC. Again, this was a fight that was not in favor of Falcons from start to finish. And the team fighting here by Onic, again, just able to kind of dissect the fight.
Lutpi denied the Savage. I counted 5, but that's why it didn't come up, because the 4th went to Lutpi, and then Marco got cleaned up.
Well, you know, you can still take the Maniac, right? I mean,
And then the Savage from earlier in the tournament. But regardless, Falcons find themselves in an oh-so-familiar spot in this series. Onic knocking down on their bases, waves coming in from all directions. Down being almost double digits. Again, this is an 8,000 gold lead. Eminent.
Yeah, and they got a Lord come up to that top side. Big item pickups here for Onic too at this point. 12 minutes in. BOD for Kairi. Divine Glaive for Sans. You know, again, it's just you've got these items locked in that you needed, and you're ready to go ahead and knock down some of these base turrets. So, Daytona's welcome.
And it's canceled by a golden hour. In comes the rest of them. Down goes Flap. Ogwin barely gets away. Pops that Purify to buy time after the top lane inhibitor crashes. So Falcons are just staunching the bleeding here. Feather Death Strike coming in from Haji, blasting away those waves. And they will save mid lane inhibitor. Top lane still in jeopardy. Bottom up next on the docket to defend. Onic looking to control the amount of bodies that they put underneath
Kyrie's
that.
hitting the base.
And Kyrie's just looking to burst it down. Ogwin looking for the punish. And Kairi survives.
Okay, I guess Kyrie's like, you know what, if you guys are going to deal with the defense, I might as well just go ahead and hit the crystal a little bit here. So he does some damage to it, but they maintain 2 base turrets. It looks like Onic wants to go again, though, because Lutfi's got a flicker and a Daytona's welcome set up. He doesn't have many stacks. He's going to throw out the rockets here. Oh.
Eats up Ogwin. Answer with a Feathered Airstrike. That is a Shifting Skies lightning form by Flap. Lutfi put down 1/8 of his health. Kelra trying to do the same Kairi was doing with the base, except on that lower inhibitor. Does not find it. Falcons still keeping their eyes on the prize. At least we can say that the Philippines' last representative is just on point, keeping it on lockdown when it comes to the defense.
They hold it on, man. They have to. Again, even staring down this lead, this deficit that Falcons is against, almost 10,000. You know, they've only got a couple turrets that are down on the map to work with. They're nearly down to the last base turrets here. 2 stand for Falcons, and honestly, all these team fights have just been Onic throughout it. There's been a moment where you might be able to catch 1 or 2, but Falcons just doesn't have it just doesn't seem like they have the ability to win these team fights just yet, unless something goes really wrong here for Onic. There's so much vision provided that Onic can just kind of take into this, because you know, you have control across the jungle. Your Lord's coming up here in 15. I would be surprised if Falcons tries to contest it.
Realistically speaking, the best thing that Falcons can hope for is a pickoff off of Onic, but wait. They do force Ogwin here to back off. I think he held on to his Purify, so he is fine. I think Onic are also looking for Falcons to slip up. They're looking for them to, you know, waste an ult here, waste a battle spell here, to confirm this Lord and to confirm the end.
Yeah.
Oh, Detna's welcome answered by a Requiem here. Wings by wings back. So a couple of ults spent already, as well as the Feathered Airstrike.
Those are big ults that are expended by Falcons. I don't think you want to be anywhere near this Lord.
Whoa, big knockup on Lutpi once again. He answers with Detna's welcome. Golden Hour trying to save that one target. And there's the Shifting Skies pushing back and splitting up Onyx attack. And they find Kelra, forced to back off. And now it's Lutpi up next. How has Falcons done this? He goes for the freeze, winner crowd, Feathered Airstrike, and a big knockup by Kyle. Kelra falls. Straight up for Flap. Sans goes down as well. 2 for 1, make it 3. Brrr, yeah, Marco chasing Kairi. And the wind of nature saves bulletproof Marco now inside the base. Kairi wants to end it. He sees the base exposed to a couple minions.
Oh, he picks up immortality.
And now we go back to neutral. Ogwin looking to stop Kairi from taking any more from Falcons. The ending tally 3 for 1, but the Lord is still inside Falcons base.
Okay, that was a fight. The Falcons ends up getting under their belt. They got to deal with this Lord. It's going to be cleared out. Good thing for Haji and Super Marco to be up there. Again, they're slowly but surely getting into a fighting position, but man, did that take some work. And also, some mistakes made by Onyx into that one. I mean, I guess they just, the Golden Hour threw them off. Even though the Feathered Airstrike came back off cooldown, that really helped Falcons. They got caught by Kyle's Spatial Migration, Requiem combo. So that'll keep Onyx in check.
Joseph, for the first time in about maybe 10 minutes,
yeah,
Kyle was able to taste the purple, and it was one he stole away from Kairi. What's the most impressive out of this is the fact that no Purifies were spent by Falcons. So that means they were in the right spot at the right time for their positioning to matter and for them to split Onyx up like that. If this happens once more, if this is replicated some way, somehow by Falcons in this Lord pit spawning in the upper quarter about a minute and change from now, then say goodbye to this lead. I think that puts us at deadlock.
Yeah, it might just do that, and that's why now Onyx, they need to be a little more cautious on how they approach these fights. Obviously, you can see Super Marco online now on the Claude. You know, the ability to hold on to these Purifies are crucial for Falcons to flip this game over. They've done an amazing job holding on to the 2 base turrets, too, that they had to. Again, even seeing 2 Lords being secured by Onyx, they only lost that 1 base turret they maintain here. Now, they still have some time to go ahead and do something before this next Lord comes up, but that's why Onyx is just kind of playing the patient game.
Yep. Onyx are on Overwatch right now. You make the wrong move, get in range, in the wrong spot, and it's over. It's a pick-off, and then next thing you know, Falcons can't even contest, can't even leave their base. So they're sending bodies here to try and confirm a slow push on this tier 1 down bottom. Onyx knows this. Onyx knows this. It's just they don't want to risk it yet because it's so close. Oh, what is this? Ogwin. All right, he holds on with Purify.
He did get the Thundering Wrath out here, so ultimate use, but again, that's short cooldown up to this point too. Sans will have that back up before they maybe commit to this Lord. A Guardian Helm picked up too by Kairi again. You know, he hasn't died. He's very elusive. 10-0-2. Picked up the immortality earlier on the runaway, but now this Lord is up. Again, forget the gold lead that Onyx has. Falcons can fight this through. Kyle's going to jump forward, just checking out that bush. He sees Kairi. Oh, so now it's fighting for the space around this Lord here.
Here we go. Some warning shots out of Marco on a Lutpi. Lutpi chunked down about a quarter of his health. Sets up.
Oh, Lutpi.
Finds one. Answered by both. A Feathered Airstrike gets them both, but Kyle falls first. Golden Hour. In comes the rest of them. Shifting Skies, but look at this from the side. Kelra and Marco dueling guns versus fists. Oh. And they are so close to taking down Flap. In comes Kairi. Flap with the dash and back gets taken down. 2 out of the picture. For Falcons, Onyx can smell blood in the water.
They want to take down the base turrets now. Super Marco had to pop his Win of Nature with the pressure from Kelra onto that fight. So now backs against the wall. They want to stay in this game.
Feathered Airstrike. Finally, mid lane inhibitor falls. Circling Eagle by Keyboy. Minutes away.
Oh,
seconds, possibly from the end. And there's way too many minions. Onyx have delivered sweet revenge. This one's for M5. Sweeping Falcons.
Who would have thought it would have been a sweep for Onyx? But they made it happen. Game 3 took a little bit longer, but still clean as ever. and this one was definitely Onyx time.
This confirms Onyx's third place finish and a difference of 100 grand in the bank for both teams. GG well played, the team of Falcons of PH.
Man, again, for the Falcons fans out there and the Filipino fans rooting for that last representative of MSC from the Philippines. Tough loss here to see that just kind of unfold the way that it did, but as has been MSC, you know, this year, probably the biggest and most surprising MSC we've had. And even this one, you know, this series, when a lot of people thought this would potentially be the grand final, well, you know, I don't know if Falcons was ready for this. Onyx definitely came in with a game plan. They executed it very well. I feel like even Falcons tried adjusting game to game to game, but unfortunately, it was just a little bit too late in this one. Leo, this one definitely could have been a case where maybe they turned it around enough, maybe they got a game under the belt, but Onyx really responded well. Kelro was a big part of this. Again, getting that one in nature, putting that pressure on Super Marco, as Super Marco was the main point of contention for Falcons in these fights, but it's just too much to deal with, I guess, from Onyx.
Onyx just had that much of a lead that they were able to use that space and time to be able to get into better positions to threaten Falcons' imminent comeback. If this game lasted maybe 5 minutes longer, then maybe we would be going into game number 4. But as it stands, Onyx are locked in and they want history to go a certain direction. Already we're entering an age of uncertainty and massive change in MLB esports. What more? A flip on the script from the M5 World Championship.
And I think, you know, as we saw this one unfold, history will rewrite itself later on. But right now, we're going to throw it over on stage with Rose and I believe Kelra for an interview.
In this third placer match, Onyx comes out on top in a sort of rematch up against Team Falcons Philippines. And of course, right now on stage, we are with none other than the gold standard, Kelra. Hello, Kelra. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, Kelra, let's talk about this. Last year in Riyadh, you were in the same exact position where you were in the third placer match. This is a back-to-back match. And after that match, you told me and you told a lot of people, I don't want to be in that situation anymore. What happened today? Why are you back here?
Tagalog na.
Go ahead.
Ako sinabi ko na ayoko na maglaro ng third battle per third uli, and last year and ngayon sasabihin ko uli yun na ayoko na uli maglaro ng battle per third dito sa AWC, and papangako kong hindi na maulit tong nangyari sa amin ngayon.
Kelra said that yes, last year he did tell me that he didn't want to play for the Battle of Third anymore. This year, although unfortunate, he had to play for the Battle of Third once again. But he said he is making a promise to everybody that this will be the last. And you know what? Maybe next year it's going to be in the Grand Finals, no? Maybe next year it's Grand Finals?
Let's see.
Okay. Now let's talk about this matchup because we know it's like a rematch for Onyx and Team Falcons Philippines, like a M5 rematch, right? M5 Grand Finals. How do you feel about beating a Filipino team here, you know, in MSC at the third placer match?
Malungkot na masaya kasi dito, yung ina-expect ng mga tao sa nung una sa yung magtatapat is kami ng Falcon sa Grand Finals nga lang. Kaso ito, battle per third eh. And wala rin nag-expect talaga na makakapasok yung TS and YG, and sobrang galing talaga nila. Wala kami masabi sa performance ng Yangon and TS. Magaling talaga sila.
Now, Kelra actually said no one expected this to happen. Of course, he feels mixed emotions. He's happy that he won. At the same time, he's a little bit sad that he had to beat his fellow Filipino brothers on the other side. And of course, they expected this matchup in the Grand Finals, and yet they are here battling it out for the third placer match. He did, however, say, though, that Yangon Galacticos and Team Spirit both deserve their Grand Final slot because they're just so good. They have nothing to say. Now, you mentioned both YG and Team Spirit, who in a few moments' time will be playing in their first ever Grand Finals. What does that say about the MLBB ecosystem as a whole?
Siguro parang nag-ano yun na kumbaga hindi naman end of PHR, kumbaga lahat talaga ng team kailangan mo respetuhin and kailangan pag-aralan.
Kelra said that not having the Philippines or, the Big Three region in the grand final does not mean it's the end of the Philippine era. But it's more towards the teams actually need to start respecting other regions more, those underdogs, because at the end of the day, they can actually give a surprise. And that's what's happening later on. So Kelra, what's next for you?
GOF.
That's it, GOF?
Yeah.
What are your expectations for your next tournament then?
Mas ina-expect ko na mas magpe-perform kami sa GF muna kasi yun yung pinakamalapit na tournament namin, and ina-expect ko sa team namin na magiging aral sa amin yung mga nangyari dito sa EWC.
For his next tournament, obviously, he has one coming up really shortly. So he's expecting to learn from their mistakes here and apply to their future tournaments to hopefully gain better results. So Kelra, any message to the fans who are here supporting you guys? I see so many Sonics, Onyx fans here in Paris. It's like home ground for you guys. And of course, those that are supporting you back at home online.
Sa mga sumusuporta sa amin, maraming salamat. Sa mga pumunta na mga nag-effort na Indonesia and Pilipinos, sa lahat ng mga pumunta dito ay nag-effort. Maraming salamat sa suporta nyo, and yun lang.
He said thank you to everybody who came down to the arena, came down to Paris to support, Onyx and of course their journey here at the MSC at EWC 2026. Thank you as well to those who are supporting online. And any words for your family?
For my family, I really miss na ko na kayo.
He misses them. Thank you so much, Kelra. I hope to see you on the next tournament once again. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Onyx finishes at the 3rd place here at MSC at EWC 2026, ending their journey. Thank you very much. With that, let us show it to the panel.
The Sonic representation here in Paris. It's been electric, as it should. The yellow and black have filled our stands at the Lenovo Legion Gauntlets, and now they've fully got something to celebrate. $100,000